If you're one of those people who enjoy gamer nostalgia, get ready for a trip back to the 90s, where pixelated graphics and controllers with a strategic protrusion for that firm grip were all the rage. I'm talking about the darling of many, the Nintendo 64. And today, we're going to reminisce about the 10 games that made history and made many gamers' hearts beat faster. But before we dive into it, did you know that the Nintendo 64 wasn't just Mario's playground? That's right. The console housed a multitude of titles that captivated both the audience and the best-selling lists. Of course, we had the iconic Super Mario 64, but we also had heavy hitters like Donkey Kong, Zelda Ocarina, and even Pokémon Stadium. Can you believe it? Let's start with the king of plumbers, the one and only Super Mario 64. Released back in 1996, this game was a true revolution in the gaming world. It was the first time we could explore the Mushroom Kingdom in 3 dimensions, which at the time was like, the future has arrived, folks. And check this out, over 11 million copies sold. Can you believe it? And who remembers the wild races of Mario Kart 64? This game was pure chaos and fun. With 3D graphics and a character roster that made any Nintendo fan lose their minds, Mario Kart 64 sold about 10 million copies. I think it's safe to say that many friendships were tested in this game, right? But hold on, we can't forget about GoldenEye, can we? The third best-selling game on the Nintendo 64 came out in 1997 and brought all the adrenaline and action from the 007 movie into our homes. With over 8 million copies sold, this game set a new standard for first-person shooter games on consoles. Who spent hours trying to beat friends in multiplayer? And what can we say about Zelda, Ocarina of Time? Folks, this game is simply epic. It was the first in the series to have 3D graphics and an open world, which at the time was a true revolution. Over 7.6 million copies sold. That's because we're talking about an adventure that captivated generations and is still remembered as one of the best experiences in video games. And who didn't have a blast with Super Smash Bros? This game was a true organized mess, with the most beloved Nintendo characters battling it out in frenetic battles. Over 5.5 million copies sold and many friendships destroyed, in a good way, of course. Oh, and we can't forget about Pokémon Stadium. Who doesn't remember seeing those beloved monsters giving a show in 3D graphics? Over 5.4 million copies sold and many battles fought on the mat. And the Donkey Kong crew didn't stay behind. Donkey Kong 64 may not have been well received by critics, but it sold over 5.2 million copies and secured a place in the hearts of franchise fans. And what about Diddy Kong Racing? This game was a true gem of the Nintendo 64. With over 4.8 million copies sold, it guaranteed many laughs and heated disputes among friends. Star Fox 64 was only the second official game in Nintendo's series, but it made history. The game brought back Fox and his squadron of space fighters, with the mission of defeating villains, disturbing the peace in the galaxy. The game featured free controls with 3D rail-shooting spacecraft and focused on action and shooting between enemies. Star Fox sold just over 4 million copies and is fondly remembered by fans of the game on the Nintendo 64. The title also made history for having been released in 1997 and, for a long time, being the last game in the series. And to top it all off, we have Banjo-Kazooie. This game arrived in 1998, bringing an adventure full of challenges and charismatic characters. Even though it's last on the list, with over 3.6 million copies sold, it certainly doesn't fall behind the others in fun and nostalgia. So, folks, feeling nostalgic too? Who spent hours and hours playing these Nintendo 64 classics? Comment down below which one was your favorite and if you still have your console tucked away at home. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more nostalgic content like this. Thanks, everyone, and until the next video.